The podcast you are listening to of Holmberg's Morning Sickness is brought to you by my friends at Eric's Family Barbecue in Avondale. Meet, mesquite, repeat. Trust me on this one. You've had barbecue before, but you haven't had it this good. Eric's Family Barbecue in Avondale, ericsfamilybbq.com.
When was the last time you had really good Texas-style barbecue? Eric's Family Barbecue, the way it's supposed to taste. Always delicious, never rushed, and prepared to perfection. Eric's Family Barbecue uses only 100% fresh meat, slowly smoked over mesquite wood until it's juicy and delicious. We all know their brisket is the best, but have you tried their pulled pork ribs, or rib tips? Amazing, and their sides are all house-made. Eric's Family Barbecue in Avondale. Meet, mesquite, repeat. Make the trip. You won't be sorry. Go to ericsfamilybbq.com for more information.
Still streaming. Holmberg's Morning Sickness. Online at 98kupd.com.
Allie Macofsky is here, everybody. She's at CB Live at Desert Ridge tonight and tomorrow, and already off the air we've talked about incest, condom use,
we've really
herpes,
just
COVID.
tackled all the hot topics.
It's been amazing.
Let's get right into the one that I want to talk about most. How did your parents conceive you? Because you started to tell that story. This is cool. You have a September birthday.
I do, yeah. We were just talking about the holidays coming up, people talking about New Year's already. It's a nightmare, but I was saying that they missed my birthday because it was in September.
Right.
Which is a great time for a birthday. You know, growing up, you go back to school, you start to meet new friends, you invite everyone to your party before you learn that you don't like them at all, you know, a few months later. But the weird thing about a September birthday is that you know exactly when your parents conceived you, which is around the holidays. You're like, oh, you guys weren't having a good relationship.
Yeah.
But the holiday stress, you just had to knock one out.
Yeah, it was that one time.
Yeah.
Hold it together.
Birthday, holidays.
Yeah, the holiday party, things got wild. My dad was a traveling salesman.
Oh.
So when he got home for the holidays, Mama was happy.
Mama gave it to him.
Mama was
What
happy
did
to
he
see
sell?
him.
What was he selling?
You know, I think it was his body, probably.
Oh, he was a prostitute. He was a traveling prostitute.
I imagine if you're a dude in the early 90s as like, that doesn't sound like a real job.
It's not a real job.
No.
Your dad was in the mob, Allie.
I think that was a nice way of him saying he had another family in a different state.
Yeah, because there was no need for it. Was there still a need? I don't remember the early 90s if traveling salesmen were still a necessity that would support a family.
No, I also can't fathom the idea that there's not a robot. You know, I'm a young person,
Sure.
so I'm like, there wasn't just like a car that drove itself to sell something.
Right.
You know,
What did they need you for?
It's beyond
and he
door to
never
door.
told you what he sold? I like the idea that it is his body.
I know,
think
I
that I'm
do
gonna
like
go
that
with
idea.
better.
And it
'Cause
seems more likely, but he worked for this company called, I think, Napa Parts.
That's still that's a thing.
that's still there.
Allie, that's a real
Yeah.
thing.
I don't know. So he sold like washing.
I don't know.
Washing
When did you
pieces?
arrive on our planet?
September.
Okay.
September,
Just wanted to
roughly,
make sure. Yeah.
give or take.
Napa seems to be something that your father did his whole life, and you may or may not believe it's real.
Well, then they both became longshoremen.
Your mother and father.
My mom and my dad. My mom started first.
Mm-hmm.
She got my dad into the game. And then they both became longshoremen at the ports of Long Beach.
At what age was this? Just pulling stuff off the
This
off the
is probably
ships.
around 5 or 6, yeah.
So he's a traveling salesman for Napa for a couple years. That dries up.
A few years, yeah. And then he's like, you know what? Let's take this to the docks.
Mom says, join me at the docks.
Yeah.
And Mom was doing that while he was traveling?
Yeah.
Your mom also had a secret second life.
She had a secret. Oh,
There's
yeah.
something going
Yeah.
on there.
You don't work at the docks without a lot of secrets, you know?
And the fish smell
I want to bring my own product in.
was
Yeah.
awful.
Stepped it up.
You're working
Yeah.
down on the docks. You smell like work and seawater.
Yeah, there's not...
You had a high tolerance.
You know, they did divorce. They did divorce shortly after that, yeah. But they both still work together.
2 seasons.
They stayed in the same job.
Yeah, they both work together. The nice thing about the port is that it's very large. So,
Oh, you can keep your distance.
yeah, you can pick and choose jobs.
I got to guess there's not a lot of relationship strife on the docks.
It feels,
They had to be the only ones.
you know, I don't think so.
No?
I feel like the docks are a family business. It's very mafia style. Like, you can
It is
only get
definitely
in if someone recommends you.
Love on the docks.
Some of those.
Let's get that
That's a
going.
good- I think that's a thing.
Let's
I think
get
we just
this
invented
show
a thing.
started.
Love on the docks is disturbing as much as it is interesting.
It's like the Neil Diamond song.
It is love on the docks.
They'd meet up for lunch on their breaks.
Everyone
15
smells like
minutes.
sweat. Yeah, that's very well. That's an interesting story.
Yeah.
I walked in on my parents. I was about 14, relatively unaware young man on Christmas Eve, and I couldn't sleep. Still had that kind of like, I know it's not a thing, but
I get that way.
You know what I mean? Yeah, so I'm still excited. Santa wasn't real, but I'm still getting stuff. So I go down the hall, and our sunken living room had a step down, and I see my dad leaning on the step, laying back, Christmas tree. There's music going just lightly, and I'm like, it's 2 a.m. What's he doing up, just laying out there? And then I'm like, hey guys, and I see my mom just kind of like look up at me, and I'm like, what's going on? And my dad goes, oh God. And I kind of ruined Christmas because I think he was getting one of them annual blowjobs.
Yeah.
And then we played rummy because I made him play cards with me.
The worst son ever.
I was the worst.
You are terrible.
Now I think back and
Go to bed. Your mom's finishing the candy cane.
Exactly. Mom and I are working the stuffing.
You clause blocked your mom and dad.
Yeah, I did. I clause blocked
Santa
Dad.
Claus blocked.
And I didn't
your
walk in the room. I
parents.
just saw him like, hey. And like they're just having like a rest before all the presents. And then they weren't. And my dad goes, God. Now I know exactly what. And I want to call him and apologize, but then I have to admit that I saw that.
Yeah, I'm almost envious of this story. I'm like, oh, your parents were together when you were 14? Good for you.
It's true. They stayed together till I was in my 30s.
That's weird.
Yeah. And
That's
then
a
they were
weird
done
old
with each other.
divorce.
Yeah, it was. Because it was like, we can do better.
You're always like, why didn't you do this sooner? That's what I always think. I'm like, you should have done it earlier.
I think some think that way too. But your folks, where did you go with mom or dad?
I went primarily with dad, which is pretty rare.
Yeah, very.
Yeah, but I think my dad kind of loved it, because that's a good way. Like some
It's a
people
win.
get dogs to pick up chicks. My dad had 3 young girls that he was raising on his own. Like, what woman doesn't love that story? And he really played into it. He's like, the mom's not around, even though we would like go to her house every other weekend. He's like, I do this on my own at the docks, I take them to work with me. It's all I can do.
Wow. And did you grow up in Long Beach?
I grew up in Long Beach.
No
yeah.
kidding.
Yeah.
How about this? This is like a life you had.
Oh, very
What's it like
strange.
growing up in Long Beach at the docks?
It's fine. Long Beach is a great place, really big city, but not big like L.A., but big enough on its own. But
has it been ruined because everybody like me thinks that all you do is just
listen to Sublime?
Snoop Dogg and Sublime? That's about it.
We kind of do. We
I think
kind of
that's
do.
it, right?
It's a big element.
Yeah, just
Yeah,
Snoop
you go
Dogg
on
and Sublime.
camping trips to Kern River and just, go down a tube listening to Sublime,
That's
getting
it.
lit.
Nothing wrong with that. In
That's
a weird
life.
way, that's kind of what it is.
It is pretty beautiful.
Yeah, and it's kind of an odd thing because it's just where the docks are, and then right there's beautiful water and nice scenery.
Yeah,
It's
a
an odd
strange
place to grow up.
environment.
Yeah. And would you do anything for Halloween? Or are you a Halloween person?
I would do some things for Halloween. Being the youngest of 3, I always had like a hand-me-down costume, and also, I was an accident. I was the Christmas accident. My mom calls me a gift from God, and I'm like, girl, you're an atheist. But it's a nice way of putting it, and kind of would pick and choose. I would be like from the top half, like Simba from The Lion King, the bottom half, like Winnie the Pooh. Like
hybrid.
nothing. They gave up with
Yeah.
me. They're like, you are whatever you are, use your imagination.
Are you in a relationship? Do you want kids? What's going on with that?
Oh my God, I'm baby crazy.
Are you really?
I am, but
All
I'm
right,
not.
get out.
I'm not in a
Nobody
place.
can deal with girls that say that word. That makes me nervous, and I've been vasectomized.
Yeah,
I have
no.
baby fever.
Yeah, I hate
How's
baby
the date
fever.
going?
Yeah.
Yeah, I
You're
am.
baby crazy?
I'm baby crazy.
Would you like a baby?
No.
Okay.
No.
I can't do that for you, but Brad's here, and I figured maybe I'd just offer him.
No,
He's also baby crazy.
I
That's
do
why he
have
shaves
a
his head.
boyfriend.
Okay, good for you.
And so
Is
maybe
he baby crazy?
he's crazy about me. For now.
Because the
For
baby
now.
crazy thing is definitely a
I think he doesn't. We're in it for the long haul.
yeah.
Watch, I'll come back in a year and be like, it didn't work out, guys. He's not in it for the long haul.
Yeah. You're not doing the weird baby crazy thing where you're like, put a baby in. Like in the middle of the throes of passion where you bring babies up.
No.
Yeah, I knew a girl who did that years ago to a guy, and he goes, I like her a lot, but every time we are intimate, she says, like, put a baby in me. Like she brings up babies.
I'm
during
not.
sex.
I'm not in the throes of
Out.
passion
Yeah.
for that long.
don't
Normally
time
I'm
to
like,
say
let's
that.
wrap it up and get some food. Let's get a bite. I'm over
This
it.
is boring.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. If you're not going to put a baby in me, let's eat.
Yeah. Let's do something else.
Yeah. So
productive.
when do you want this baby?
Once I'm super rich, mega famous.
Oh, you got to have some money and some.
I
fame.
want a baby when I have enough money to not have to raise it full time.
Perfect.
Raising a baby is exhausting. I was a babysitter at one point. That's exhausting. And I was like, I'm only being a mom part-time here. It's too much.
Yeah, it's awful.
Yeah, so
I don't know how some of those nannies do it.
Oh, miserable because you don't love them.
I want a whole team.
Yeah,
they say it takes a village, and I'm like, let's hire the village.
Yeah, my ex parents had a baby when he was 57.
Whoa.
And he's like, I've done this already. So he had a night nanny, and I didn't know what that was. So at 10 o'clock, somebody knocks on the door, and this girl comes in, and he goes to bed, and she goes, I stay with the baby all night. And I'm like, do you sleep? And she goes, yeah, I sleep. And I'm like, you come here and get paid to sleep 7 days a week? And she goes, this is where I sleep. If the baby wakes up, I take care of it. And that baby never woke up.
Whoa.
So for like a year and a half, she made a full salary just sleeping at Tom's house.
Yeah, I was never a nighttime nanny, but I did fall asleep on the job a lot.
Yeah, because they don't do anything sometimes.
No.
And still you complained it was too hard.
It was hard, yeah.
Were the kids good?
The kids were great, yeah. Her name's Sailor. I still go and visit her.
How old does she now?
She's 3 years old now.
Oh, she still needs a babysitter.
Yeah, not me.
Yeah.
Not me.
When was this? This wasn't that long ago.
I started watching her when she was 11 months old.
So a couple years ago.
Well, that's some work
years
there.
ago. Yeah, 11 months. And I had the crazy thing about being a babysitter is that you don't have to have any prior experience. You just have to be a woman and people trust you. And I'm like, I'm not qualified.
I love to shake babies.
That's very true.
Yeah, if it's crying, I'll give it a little jostle.
Brady brings up a good point. The one qualification is you don't have Parkinson's. Outside of that, you're in.
You're mostly good.
Yeah, that's it. And even still, going to trust you because I got stuff to do and I don't want to be around it. Yeah,
and I get it now after watching a kid. I'm like, yeah, if I had one of these, just be breathing.
Yeah, that's it. It's your only job. Make sure it's alive. Make sure the babysitter's alive.
Because then if something bad does happen, you don't have to take the responsibility for the most part as the parent. You can be like, well, this stupid babysitter, and then I get fired, whatever.
Right.
That's
Move on to
me,
the next
not on
family.
you. Exactly. Get another kid, pump one out.
Yeah. Well, good luck to you with that.
Thank you.
I hope that the child thing works out soon. Because that means you're rich on top of it all.
Yeah.
Are you getting close?
No,
you're
no.
2 years removed from babysitting, so
Yeah,
I'm guessing
God,
you're still
no.
on the trail.
God, no. There's a long ways to go.
Well, what is rich then? Because I have with baby fever, that's going to end up trumping your dreams, and then you're going to say, this is enough. And then you're going to ruin your entire career with a child.
Yeah, no. I mean, I definitely want to not have to do morning radio to get people to come out to my shows.
Me too.
That's
Not at
probably
that
the
level
place
yet. Yeah.
in my
I've
career.
been doing it for
Huge.
20 years, and
Yeah.
I hated it every day. It's
No, but
ridiculous.
I do love morning radio. This is like so exciting. I used to, I don't know, I don't remember if I talked about this last time, but when I was a kid, I was a child radio star on the local radio station.
No, you didn't.
On Kiss FM, I would make prank phone calls in the morning.
Really?
What?
Yeah.
With Mark and Brian or who?
With Ryan Seacrest and Ellen
Seacrest. That's
Kay.
who was there. That's what I'm thinking
Yeah.
of. No kidding.
Yeah, so something about being in like a radio station brings back like so many fun childhood memories.
Really?
It's very exciting.
That's kind of what were your qualifications for that? How do you get that job?
It purely happened by coincidence. I called in. I've always been an attention whore, yeah. And so when I was younger, I just like wanted to hear my voice on the radio, you know? And so I asked my sister for the phone number. She didn't give it to me because she was like, your voice is recognizable. My friends in high school will know that you're the one calling in. You'll embarrass me. And so then she tried to call in. She tries calling. She doesn't get through. As soon as she leaves for school, my dad drops her off. I hit redial on the phone, get in right away. I'm 7 years old. I'm like, hi, Ryan. Can I get American Idol tickets? And ended up just like having a conversation with him at 7. He's like, where's your parents? I'm like, I don't know. It's 7 in the morning. He's like, what do you mean you don't know?
You want to meet up after the show?
Yeah, this got creepy fast.
I have a job for you.
Why don't you come down and work here? Your parents are at the docks all day.
And it ended up working out pretty well.
Yeah, really well.
I worked there for like 4 years making prank phone calls.
Did they pay you?
At first they didn't. And then they were like, oh, I think this is actually illegal.
Really illegal.
But, you know, being a dock worker's kid from Long Beach, I didn't do it for the money or the glory.
Who drove you to Burbank every day?
So, I mean, both of my parents are also attention whores, so they love driving me up and, like, having the experience.
So they'd take days off from the docks.
Yeah, but then they got over it, you know, it wore off. And so someone from the radio station would pick me up from school early because I would pre-record them. Sorry to break the illusion to any fans out there.
Man, it was all fake.
It was all fake.
Seacrest Ryan's Roses isn't real?
I didn't do that. I can't speak on
You
that.
did the
I plead the fifth.
Lil Ryan's
I
Roses.
did Lil Alley.
It was called
Lil
Lil.
Alley.
You were really Lil?
I had a name and
I was
everything.
joking about the Lil.
No, truly.
Oh, God. He
There
did
were like
that?
conspiracy theories on Yahoo's like, this is a 32-year-old from Denver who's a voice actress pretending to be a child. And I was like, no, it truly is me. My
Lil
parents
Alley.
don't care about me. Yeah.
Do you ever, like, imagine yourself as a cartoon Lil Alley? That would be a great cartoon you should think about doing. The Lil Alley going to
Doing
work
a horrible prank.
at a radio radio station. And
that would be cute. I also have like the voice recordings on CD. I could potentially do.
And the R-rated things you heard inside that radio station the entire time you were there. Well, not at Seacrest show. Lil.
No, it was pretty. It was pretty tame. But there were a couple prank phone calls where I'd talk about being stuck at McDonald's and my dad's chatting with some ladies. I can't find him.
Who
You
are
guys
you
have
calling
to help me.
randomly?
I would call businesses.
Okay.
And I would just always have some sort of hypothetical situation that they had to get me out of. Like, I would call up a bar and be like, have you guys seen my dad? And they're like, what's his name? And I'm like, Dad. Like, what does he look like? I'm like, he's fat, he's bald, he's ugly. And they'd be like, I don't know if I've seen your dad, but we'll check around. And I'm like, okay.
So just missing children things.
Yeah, totally.
Hilarious.
It was
in
pretty
Los
much
Angeles.
just a really long cry for help.
I was going to say, it was mostly like from the heart. It was screaming out and nobody recognized it.
Yeah, no one
Just
heard
good,
me.
funny. Yeah.
Just me being like, do you guys see me? Do you hear me?
What do you pay an 8-year-old to do prank calls?
I think, I don't quite remember. My parents made the dumb choice of putting half the money I made into a college fund, which was too hopeful.
Yeah.
But it's like I was calling radio stations at 7 years old on my own. I don't think college is the next,
priority
step for me. Yeah, it was definitely entertainment always.
Yeah.
But I got paid pretty well. But I blew through it because I got it all when I was in high school. So I got
what'd
a
you
car.
buy?
I went to Coachella, which
Hold
was
on, they
super
paid you
important.
enough for a car?
And Coachella.
Some people work here as adults, don't get paid enough for a car.
I know. You got to be a child star. That's where the money's at.
You have to. Well, that's what Seacrest pays kids better than
And
people.
look what your parents got out of it.
Nothing.
Rolls Royce.
Yeah.
No, they got nothing. My dad, I remember he stole from me. He bought patio furniture. I was like, this is what you're stealing money from me for? A new patio setup?
That stuff's not cheap, though. You got to get the good stuff.
I'm like, come on, Larry. Buy a new wife, you lonely bag.
Is Dad still around?
He's around.
Still at
Both
the docks?
parents are around. They're both at the docks.
Nice. That's outstanding. What a weird situation that. How long did the radio job last?
About
and how
4
did it
years.
end?
I grew out of it.
Oh.
My name was Lil Allie, and then,
you're 14.
Adolescent Allie doesn't have the same ring to it.
Tween Alley.
Yeah, so I kind of
And now it starts to get to the point where Tween Alley's calling guys like, yeah, I'll come get you.
Yeah.
And then now
I'll pick you up.
It's now a real problem.
Yeah.
And you might be on a sting operation. That would have been fun.
Oh, that could have been fun. It could have been like a Chris Hansen merger type of thing.
How you doing? And then have you come downstairs.
Who needs Ryan Roses when you can catch predators?
Did they ever write scripts for you and say, try this?
So there would be a producer who was in the studio with me, and he would give me the layout of what calls we would be doing, what the goal was, how to kind of get there. And so he would try and give me as much room to get there on my own. But then he'd, of course, throw in some, lines that I would have. He'd throw in, Matlock and Murder, She Wrote. And it's like, I'm not coming up with that. I have zero idea.
Right.
You barely know auto parts.
Yeah.
Matlock's not on the list.
Yeah, I don't even know my dad's full name at this point.
Was your mom there the whole time to, make sure that this didn't get too out of hand, or did she didn't care?
No, they were both involved.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they both loved it. So they
you still talk to Seacrest?
No.
He's out of your life.
No, he's out of my life.
Would you like to? He's here. You want him? He'll bring him in. Ryan Seacrest. Come on in. Here, Ryan Seacrest. Finally here for Lil Alley Reunion Day.
Yeah. I know.
That's my Halloween costume now. I'm going out as Lil Alley.
Perfect. It all goes Ryan.
We'll just wander around and prank, but we don't really want candy.
Grift people.
That would be awesome. Allie Macofsky is at Desert Ridge, CB Live at Desert Ridge all weekend long, Friday and Saturday. 2 shows each night if you want to go, cblive.com. Allie, always a pleasure. Leave us with words of wisdom if you don't mind.
Don't have a kid unless you have money to not raise it. That's
exactly
my advice. And if you currently have a kid that you don't have money for, give it to me. Watch him.
Yeah, and you're qualified.
And I'm qualified. I'm a woman. What more do you need?
And if the kid's smart enough, you're a good judge to bring it to us and see whether or not it's willing to do some calls.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we'll do Ryan's.
Check it out at LilAlleyDaycare.com.
Ryan's Lil Roses, where we hook up kids and then find out if second graders are cheating on each other.
Yeah,
Fantastic
exactly.
radio bit. Thank you, Allie. It's Allie
Thank
Macofsky,
you.
everybody. It's 98.
Arizona's most powerful rock radio station. He said, fully erect. 98.
You've been listening to Holmberg's Morning Sickness Podcast, brought to you by our friends at Eric's Family Barbecue in Avondale. Meet, mesquite, repeat. Eric'sFamilyBBQ.com.